Conventional wisdom advises that it is safest to cross the bar on the flood. That is undoubtedly true, and easy enough to arrange when entering the river. In fact, if you have a deep draft boat and are planning on visiting Woodbridge, the only sensible time to enter is between 1 and 2 hours before high water on the bar. Earlier or later, and there may well not be enough water at Woodbridge. However, if you are launching in one of the Woodbridge yards, or leaving the marina with a deep draft boat, it is inevitable that you will cross the bar on the ebb, unless you anchor or pick up a buoy in the lower reaches of the river for 24 hours. The bar has changed significantly since last year. The Deben Bar has moved from the shoal just in front of the Felixstowe Ferry Sailing Club to just offshore, upstream the northernmost Martello Tower, presumably to encourage people to stay clear of the tail of the knolls. The channel is narrower, and the buoys have been relocated. The least depth, according to Trinity House chartlet, is 0.1 metres by West Knoll buoy. This has been confirmed by several early launchers, who reported that the shallowest part of the bar crossing was between the two red buoys. The harbour master, John White, has not published a chartlet this year, as he feels the situation is too changeable, which is a bit worrying. I was due to launch at Larkman's at Woodbridge on the 17th of May, when the tide times graph of the Deben Bar showed the height of tide 2 hours after local high water would be 2.5 metres. That is the latest time I normally cross the bar, so with a depth of water at LAT of 0.1 metres, I should have had at least 2.6 metres at West Knoll. Fortunately, Larkman's launched me earlier than usual, so I was able to leave 50 minutes before high water at Woodbridge. I was only just floating and ran hard aground turning right at the red buoy just off their quay. At least it proved the echo sounder was accurate. I draw 1.94 metres and was firmly aground at an indicated 1.8 metres, but floated off with the sounder just beginning to show 2 metres. I was off the marina 15 minutes later, when the gauge on the sill was showing 2.3 metres, implying that tide was about 20 minutes late. Despite the tide being a little late at the marina, I still had a minimum depth of 3.2 metres going through Loder's Cut. As I approached the Felixstowe Ferry Sailing Club, I checked the Harwich Harbour depth gauge on my mobile, which confirmed that there was about 3.3 metres of tide. Despite the range and timing at Harwich being different to the ferry, I found that at this state of tide at least, it gives a good idea of what to expect. The mobile didn't show the details clearly, so I took a screen capture on the PC when I got home to demonstrate. It looked as though I would be at West Knoll at 20 minutes to 3, That was only 1 hour 20 minutes after local high water, so it looked as though depth would not be a problem. After rounding the promontory, I headed straight for Mid Knoll, intending to make a diversion to avoid getting too close to the knoll, close to the buoy. Until now there had been plenty of water, but I was not surprised to find it falling to 3.1 metres, as there had been a shallow patch in the same place here last year, when I found about the same depth of water here as at West Knoll. However, to my horror, instead of getting deeper, it got shallower, and very soon I was registering just 2.4 metres. Given that there was a height of tide of just over 3 metres, the track I was on must dry at lowest aspect tide. I was unsure which way to turn to find deeper water. The knolls looked steep too, so my guess was that the deeper water lay in that direction. And so it proved, but that meant getting close to the knolls. I was truly glad that Larkmans had managed to launch me early. Had I been in this position at my normal passage time of 2 hours after high water, I would have been scraping the anti-fouling off the bottom of the keel. Once past the visible knoll, depth increased to 4.2 metres, all the way to Mid Knoll. From Mid Knoll, I found the depths I was expecting, reducing from 4 metres at Mid Knoll to 3.5 metres by Knoll Spit, then falling to 3 metres by West Knoll. The depth increased to 3.2 metres as I turned for the Haven Fairway buoy, and soon rose to more than 5 metres. In practice, if coming from or heading south, there is no need to make for the Haven buoy, as there is more water to the south of the track, and less risk of being swept north across the knolls or by the cross tide. I'm at a loss to know why there was so little water after passing the second Martello tower. The height of tide was definitely around 3 metres. My echo sounder was definitely accurate to within about 0.1 of a metre, and read 2.4 metres, probably truly 2.5. Therefore the area I was passing over must dry at lowest astronomical tides. But there is no sign of drying patch on either the Trinity House chartlet or the drone video produced by John Ranson and published on John White's Deben Estuary Pilot's website. In fact, the Trinity House chartlets have never given much information on depth in the channel. John White's chartlets were better in this respect, and last year he indicated a patch of 0.9 metres, roughly where I found the shallow water. In fact, last year I think that patch was closer to 0.3 metres when I passed over it. This year he's chosen not to produce a chartlet at all because of the regular changes occurring. Perhaps I was too close to the shore, but I was near to mid-channel. What is certain is if I'd taken the same track 2 hours after high water, I would have been in grave danger of running aground. At some point, the main channel will revert to the northern swashway. Some say it already has. When it does happen, the southern entrance will silt up. Perhaps that process has already started. Back in 2015, the Trinity House chartlet showed a drying bar in the same position I'm talking about. A month later, it had disappeared entirely. Perhaps that bar is about to reappear. All I can say is be careful, and if in doubt, check with John White before crossing.